Group. I am Kaliste Kimball. If you didn't know how to say my name, it's Kaliste. The T is silent. And I just want to welcome everybody. Congratulations on joining us and getting started with us. So before we get started, just make sure that you have introduced yourself to the group and talked about your struggles with food or just what your eating habits are like, what you hope to gain out of this group. Just whatever you feel like sharing with us. So right now, I want to talk about before we officially start on Monday. I want to talk about what I want all of you to focus on this week. You have all, if you're in this group, you have all committed to 7 days of clean eating. So I think what I want to help you with is to make that a little bit easier for you, especially if you are not used to eating clean, healthy food all the time, and you're used to eating a lot of junk food or sugar or really salty snacks that are processed, or bread and rice and potatoes and pasta every day, and just different stuff like that. So I know that many of you I want to teach you how to overcome your cravings and not emotionally eat. I know, especially for women, but there's a lot of guys out there too that eat whenever they're not hungry, eat whenever they're bored. I know there's a lot of you that will overeat because you don't know what proper portion control is, the portion sizes, or you just don't feel like it's enough. I know I went to a conference last weekend and they gave us free boxed lunches. Of course, we brought our own lunch, so we had our own lunch, but I looked at the boxes and they had a bag of chips in there with the sandwich and something else, something not good. But the bag of chips, just that they had in the boxed lunch, on the back of it, I read it, and it said, serving size, blah, 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 amount of servings per bag, 2. So, it's really good to eat your own food that you make, and I'm going to help you learn how to do that, efficiently, and make it easy for you to pack things to bring with you whenever you're on the go and on the run. If any of you have problems with any of this, this group will really help you. If you have problems giving into cravings, if you're just thinking, oh my gosh, I really need a Snickers bar right now, I just have to have one, or my taste buds are going to explode and I'm going to start being really mad because I just need a Snickers bar. Or if you eat out of boredom, like, oh, I'm just going to go watch my favorite show on TV, so let's go make some trail mix with a lot of chocolate and pretzels and chocolate in there, and it's like pretzels and chocolate, it's not even trail mix. Or if you make impulsive decisions, like if it's not in your meal plan, if you're at home on a Friday night and it's 11 o'clock in the night and you're like, I could really go for some Taco Bell right now. That sounds really good. So you get in your car and you drive a mile there and then you buy your Taco Bell. That was impulsive. You didn't plan that out. Or if you eat when you're stressed or depressed, I know that chemically, food will react chemically in your brain to make your levels of serotonin go up, and to just raise all your endorphins so you feel happy and comforted whenever you eat food. So food dependency is a real thing. It's a real addiction, especially foods high in carbs and sugar are really good at doing that, are making you feel good. Because I know that, if I ever in the past, sometimes whenever I would get really, really depressed or stressed, I would just say, oh my gosh. And I was living with my mom and my brother, and I would just say, Mom, I text her, on your way home from work, can you just get a tub of chocolate fudge track Bluebell ice cream for me? And then I would just eat the whole thing by myself. Or I would try to. So that's not good. It would just make me feel better. Or people that, if you binge eat, and so binge eat is just whenever you eat a lot of things at one time, especially bad things. This is really common for people who go on diets, or try out different diets. Maybe I'll try this diet this week, or I'm going to try to eat clean for a week. No, you don't try to do it. You say, I'm going to start eating clean. So if you're trying to do something, just testing it out, see if it works for you, then you usually end up doing something like not eating things in moderation, and you just try to go really hardcore on something, and then you feel so deprived on things that you just end up eating like a ton of bad things. Like you're gonna have pizza and ice cream and cookies and cake and fried chicken all in one meal because you feel like you deserve it from working so hard of just eating raw carrots for 3 weeks straight. Like, that's not a good thing. So I want to just say that I call all of those things, all of them, I put them in a category, and it is called mindless eating. Mindless eating. So, I mean, you have a mind and you're thinking about eating, but you're not really putting a thought process to it besides, I want this, so I'm going to eat it. This is going to taste really good, so I'm going to eat it. This is going to be really easy, so I'm going to eat it. Oh, and it tastes good too, because if you are in here and you don't ever think things like that. I mean, if you just think, oh, this is cheap, I'm going to eat it, you're probably not eating vegetables, because a lot of things that are marketed to you to appear cheap and easy are really processed. I mean, really processed, filled with chemicals, not filled with real food, and designed to get you chemically in your brain, make you chemically feel good so that you want more of it. I mean, it's really, food can be a drug in more ways than one. Good food can be a drug, like it can nourish your body and get rid of sickness, but bad food is like bad drugs. It destroys your body. It makes you fat and obese and puts you at higher risk for heart disease, and you're addicted to it, so you keep doing it, and you go further into this plunge, and guess what? The food people that market all this bad stuff to you are working with the pharmaceutical companies to make sure that they can get your money by making you sick, and then the pharmaceutical companies give you drugs, and they get your money just to make you feel better, but you really are not getting better because you're not taking care of yourself for real. So, I want all of you to do this week is to think about why you eat. I can say for myself, I used to not always eat when I'm hungry. Sometimes people say, I'm starving. I'm so starving. Let's go get something to eat. I'm starved. Okay. Most likely, your stomach has not even been growling. And if it has growled, it might have growled one time, so you're definitely not starving. If your stomach is not, I'm not saying you have to eat only if your stomach is growling, but I mean, a lot of times you just feel like you want or need food, but your stomach is not actually feeling hungry. Your brain is feeling hungry. It's feeling hungry for the chemical reactions that go on in it. And your body is not hungry. Your body probably is really hungry for nutrients, but so I want you to think about why you eat. Every time you go for a bag of chips or an apple, or whether it's healthy or unhealthy, anything that you want to put in your mouth to eat this week, before you pick it up or before you put it in your mouth, look at it and say, why am I going to eat this? If the answer is not to nourish your body, then you should not eat it. If you are in this group, you are here because you want to learn how to nourish your body and how to take care of your body. Food will make you, if you have low energy, food is going to make you feel better. It's going to lower your risk of heart disease. It's going to help you. Nourishing food is going to deliver the nutrients that your body needs to function optimally. You're going to get energy you're going to be healthy. You're going to go to the doctor and he's not going to say, oh, you need to get on this kind of medicine or this kind of medicine to control this, because you're going to be taking care of yourself already. And a lot of things are directly related to what you eat, like high cholesterol, or something, a lot of times high blood pressure is linked, like 95% of the time, high blood pressure is linked to what you eat. You may be in denial about it, but it really is. Like my father, for instance, has had high blood pressure his whole entire life, and he's in his 50s. And just recently, he decided to start eating clean within the past few months, and so he eats lean meats and vegetables and sometimes fruit. And that's pretty much what he sticks to, and he's off of his blood pressure medicine. And he's just, because I used to tell him and he would not listen to me. And so now he's telling me like I've never heard anything like it, but I already knew it. Like I was trying to tell him to do this to begin with. And you want to lose weight, so, eating to nourish your body is going to help you lose weight because you're going to be eating the good food. And you're going to lower all your risks for cancer, for all those diseases, for heart disease, for diabetes especially. Diabetes is a big one. We have kids that are in high school that now have type 2 diabetes, which is something that only older people would get, whenever they're in their 60s or 70s or whatever. But now we have teenagers get it because they're overweight or obese or eating a lot of bad food that is screwing up their insulin sensitivity. So another reason why you might be in this, if you're not in this, because you all want to eat to nourish your body, and you all want the best health that you can have, otherwise you wouldn't be here. You all want to have a healthy weight, otherwise you would not be in this group. So if I have some notes that I wrote down because I like to talk a lot. So if you're in here, you're either not eating clean, and you're eating a lot of junk, or you're just eating clean sometimes, or even most of the time. I have a couple of people in here that usually eat clean, but just sometimes face a couple of struggles. But I have some people in here that all food is a struggle for them. So I want to help you guys break the pattern of mindless eating. If you're facing a struggle with food, it's a struggle because it's mindless eating, and you're just turning to it because you're in need of something else, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically. If you're eating bad food, you don't really need it. You have a different need that you need to pay attention to, and you should not be covering it up with food. So every time you take a bite of food this week, I want you to think about what you're eating, why you're eating it. I want you to practice mindful eating. So what our big focus this week is going to be is called mindful eating. So this means paying attention to why you're eating your food and paying attention to eating it too. I don't want you to be eating in front of the TV or having your smartphone in your hand and on Facebook and on Instagram while you're eating. We have developed in our house a very good habit of sitting at the table, even if it's just alone. Nate and I will eat together, but sometimes we're not always together, and so I'll just eat by myself. But at the table with the phone down, iPad away, computer away, TV off, so I can just focus on, wow, this food is really good, and focus on every bite that I'm taking, make sure I'm chewing my food enough, and just being completely in the moment of my eating instead of just inhaling food. It's like, I know any of you who drive, sometimes you'll drive home and think, oh my gosh, how did I even get here? It's the same thing with eating. If you're watching TV, if you're watching your favorite TV show and you're eating a really healthy meal or a really unhealthy meal, you're going to eat the whole thing and not even realize where it went. So if it's healthy, you might not feel, satisfied. You might feel like, well, that wasn't worth it, Or if you're eating unhealthy, you might eat so many calories, so much sugar, and not even realize it. And you're not even really enjoying it that much because you're not paying attention to it. You're paying attention to your show. You're just eating because it's something to do. seriously, you need to like knit while you watch TV or something instead. It's a lot better for you. And just just mindful. Just be so mindful. It will make the hugest difference. And if you think, oh, I don't have time to put my phone down, I have to answer these emails. Well, yes, you have time. Sometimes Nate, because both him and I, our work is, we do it through social media, different networks, and emailing and texting and calling, and we're just always talking, communicating with people. So sometimes it's hard, and I have to tell myself sometimes, and, I'll catch him and I'll say, sweetie, those people will still be there whenever you're done. You can take a 10-minute break and they will still be there. Whatever it is you have to do, 10 minutes is really not going to make that much of a difference. So put the phone down and focus on what's important that moment, which is not the phone. Those people are going to be there. Whatever it is will be there. Your food, though, might not be there. So you need to focus on your eating, because it really will make a difference in your eating pattern and your habit. And you're going to realize, this week will be the biggest week. You're going to realize that you eat for all the wrong reasons. You're going to want to reach for something, and then you're going to think, why am I eating this? And the answer will not be because my stomach is growling and I want to nourish my body. That most likely, maybe a couple of times this week that might be the answer, but most likely whenever you want something, whenever you're going to go for something, it's not going to be that I'm going to eat this because I want to nourish my body. Whenever you eat the meals that I put out for you, hopefully whenever you're taking bites of that, you're thinking, I'm eating this to nourish my body. But if you didn't throw away that tub of ice cream, and then you open up your freezer to get some frozen vegetables out, and then you think, maybe if I just have half a cup of that, it won't be bad. It's not going to really affect me. You take out the tub of ice cream, and then you think, okay, why am I eating this? It's not because you're hungry. It's not to nourish your body. It's because you want the chemical reaction to go off in your brain, which can be broken. That is something that can be broken. Another thing that I want to mention is that portion sizes are very important. We're going to work hard this week. It is possible to not starve yourself and to eat healthy and fill yourself up, because we're going to be eating a lot of vegetables, and I have some good recipes for that. And you're going to have to adapt to a couple of things. But I do want to say that some of you, I'm not sure how much you all eat, but I'm pretty sure that, there's like 40 at least people still coming in all today, all the rest of tonight, all tomorrow, people coming in this group. And I know that a few of you eat a lot. And that is not what was intended. In school growing up, I learned that your stomach was the size of your fist. And I don't think that that's true. Maybe whenever I was in school, that could have been true for a majority of Americans, but now, if they're teaching kids this is not the truth, because I think it's 2 out of every 5 children are overweight or obese, and 1 out of every 3 adults is overweight or obese. So that means that you're probably overeating portions, overeating calories, and eating really bad food. So your stomach is not, if you're one of those overeaters, your stomach is not going to be the size of your fist. Your stomach's probably going to be the size of your head. I don't know. It's just bigger. You're going to have a huge plate of food, and it's going to have a lot of fiber, a lot of protein, and a little bit of fat in it, which all plays a huge part in keeping yourself full. But if you don't feel stuffed whenever it's over, that's perfectly fine, because you are getting all the nutrients you need, all the calories you need to perform and function optimally that day. A lot of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so much food, I don't know how I can eat all of it. But some of you might be like, oh, I feel like I still might need something else. But you really don't, because, the other night I ate something and it wasn't what I usually eat. It was just like a little bit of food, but it was really high calorie, it was really high fat. And I didn't feel stuffed after. I wasn't like, oh yeah, like rubbing my belly. But I went to bed later that night, and I woke up the next morning and I still wasn't hungry. So I know that I wasn't hungry. I mean, you're not going to go hungry if you don't feel like you just ate Thanksgiving dinner. And most of our food is going to taste good. I mean, some of it you might not be used to eating, so it might be different for you if you're used to eating processed food and then you go to eating a lot of vegetables or something like that. You might be like, this might be kind of weird. Sometimes some things might taste a little bit strange at first, but just for maybe a day. It'll all be very good recipes, very delicious. It just takes one day of trying something new and then saying, this is not bad. A few weeks ago, I tried raw string beans for the first time, and I started eating them and dipping them in my hummus, which I love. I was like, these are kind of okay. I mean, I'm dipping them in my hummus, so they're good. And now I love them. It's my favorite snack. And I just started eating them for the first time ever 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't the hugest fan, and now I am the hugest fan because I've been eating them regularly. So I just want to conclude this video by reminding you all that starting even right now, as soon as you start watching this video, every time you eat anything or think about eating anything or want to eat anything or pick up something to start eating it, look at it first and say, why am I eating this? And if it's not to make yourself not hungry anymore and give yourself the nutrients you need to function optimally, if it's for a different reason, like you're craving it, you're bored, you just want more of it, you want a second serving of it even though it's not for you. I mean, you shouldn't eat a second serving of it. You're impulsive, you feel like Taco Bell at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're stressed, you're depressed, or you're binge eating, put it down. Just put it down. It's going to be hard. You're going to still want it, but just think, this is not going to bring me in the direction that I want to go in. This is going to put me one step back whenever I could be going one step forward by putting it down. So I just want to encourage you to always be walking forward. If you fall one step back behind, I mean, I know all of you, some of you might give in, you might not be super strong. I'm not saying it's excusable, but if you do slip up, it's not the end of the world. Just, you took a step back. So keep walking forward and you'll get right back to where you were. But you can't just keep going back and forth because you're just going to stay in the same place. If you take a step forward, you take a step back, you take 2 steps forward, you take 2 steps back, you're going to be in the same place. So you have to keep walking forward. If you take a step back one time, like if you say, okay, well, I'm going out this weekend, it's my cousin's birthday, I'm going to have a small piece of cake. That's a step back. But you're going to keep walking forward. So I just want to encourage all of you to keep walking forward. You're not going to be deprived of good things. You're going to get lots of good things, and just stay strong. And I know that all of you can do it. This is just the beginning of a journey, and this is just the beginning of the commitment that you're going to make to live a healthier life. And all throughout the rest of your life, if you continue with this, you're going to be so thankful that you started and that you went through maybe a few hard times, but it'll get so much easier as time goes on, and it's not going to take 3 years for it to get easier. It'll just take a few weeks. So I just want to say that congratulations for all of you for joining this group, and I'm so happy to be working with all of you. Be sure that you're commenting on everybody's posts, posting your own stuff, commenting on my posts, going through pictures, files, different stuff. And if you have any questions that might be very specific to something, or you don't feel comfortable asking it in front of a bunch of people, which you should be comfortable asking it, just private message me. And I'm a very busy person, but I will message you back, and we can discuss anything that you want to talk about. So thank you all for watching this, if you've made it this far, and if you started watching it, hopefully you did. And I will talk to all of you soon.